March 31st marks a rare astronomical event. Neptune officially departs from Pisces and enters Aries, the first time this has happened since 1861. This is not merely an ordinary planetary shift, but a historic turning point that ushers in a completely new era of energy for humanity. Since 1861, Neptune in Pisces has defined a period characterized by dreamlike states, profound intuition, and blurred boundaries between reality and illusion. This era coincided with the great transformations of humankind, from a world without electricity or the internet to the emergence of the complex spiritual structure of modern man. Neptune in Pisces has woven intricate emotions, both delicate empathy and roots for spiritual escape, sometimes causing people to become enmeshed in others' emotional webs and lose their personal boundaries. However, from this moment on, Neptune's energy will change completely. Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, symbolizes new beginnings, courage, and instinctive action. This shift heralds a rebirth, carrying a fervent flame that blends youthful explosiveness with spiritual wisdom. Unlike the previous period, when people could easily get lost in the mist of emotions, Neptune in Aries demands clarity, decisiveness, and purposeful action. This is the time to break free from safe confines, confront the truth hidden behind the facade of relationships, and build reality with strong will. This transition is not a quiet one. It infiltrates life through subtle changes, a sudden erratic heartbeat, an inexplicable restlessness, or an unusually heightened sensitivity, as if the body is awakening ahead of the mind. This is not just an individual change, but a collective turning point, where people are compelled to shed emotional burdens that are not their own in pursuit of freedom and authenticity. Neptune's departure from Pisces for the first time in 163 years marks a door that closes forever, opening a new era of action and self-assertion. The era of Neptune in Pisces, 1861-2024, shaped a unique age where humanity lived in a state of dreaming while awake. This was a time when emotions, intuition, and dreams became the primary bridge connecting people to the spiritual world. Neptune, the planet that represents the subconscious, illusion, and compassion, when combined with the energy of Pisces, a water sign symbolizing sensitivity, created a complex psychological environment. People became extremely empathetic, yet they also risked losing their personal boundaries. They absorbed others' emotions like sponges, frequently confusing their own pain with that of the collective. This often led many to experience mental exhaustion or to become trapped in a tangled web of overlapping emotions with no escape. For 163 years, Neptune in Pisces colored humanity in hazy tones. Artistic creativity soared, yet it was filled with unattainable illusions. Spirituality flourished, though it was prone to superstition. Love became idealized, but also deeply wounded by dependency. This era also marked the rise of social movements inspired by idealism, such as global pacifism or technological utopias, while simultaneously witnessing great disappointments when reality failed to live up to those high expectations. However, as Neptune departs from Pisces, the veil of mist that once covered human consciousness begins to dissipate. Borrowed emotions and dreams that never truly belong to you start to emerge. Suddenly, people realize they have borne the burdens of others for far too long, as if waking from a trance. This liberation may initially feel unsettling. Many might feel an emptiness, as if they have lost a familiar part of their emotional self. Yet, in truth, it is a cleansing process, stripping away layers of false sentiment. Neptune in Aries brings a rare kind of stillness, not the silence of inactivity, but the clarity of insight. Now, people see the world with the eyes of their primal instincts, They act based on strong intuition, rather than being led by vague emotions. This is the moment to discard the baggage that isn't yours, and to tread more lightly on the path toward true freedom. The shift of Neptune into Aries not only alters cosmic energy, but also redefines the way people act and respond to the world. Whereas Neptune in Pisces once encouraged surrender and waiting for signals from the universe, Aries now urges a pioneering spirit. Act first, analyze later. This is the time to turn dreams into reality through bold actions, rather than being trapped in an endless cycle of overthinking. People begin to feel a distinct pressure in the chest, as if an inner fire is urging them to do something immediately without delay. This change has a profound impact on personal behavior. Methods that once worked well in the past, such as dream journaling or passive meditation, may now seem outdated. Instead, primitive instincts rise. You may suddenly feel compelled to speak the truth even if it hurts, or decide to end a relationship after just one sleepless night of contemplation. Neptune in Aries makes everything straightforward. You no longer have the patience to wear a mask or tolerate things that contradict your core values. Communication also changes significantly. You become more sensitive to unspoken language, a.k.a. sidelong glance, a trembling voice, or even the silence between conversations, all become clear messages. This clarity leads to more transparent relationships, but also poses challenges, as deceit no longer has a place to hide. You are forced to confront essential questions. What do I truly want? What is worth fighting for? In the realm of finance, Aries' energy propels you toward daring investments, yet Neptune warns that courage must be paired with strategy. You might feel an overwhelming urge to burn money on a new project, but remember, Aries' fire can quickly consume if not kept in check. This is the moment to merge keen intuition, from Neptune, with practical calculation, from Aries. On a deeper level, this is a phase of spiritual metamorphosis. You come to realize that you have lived too long under the weight of others' expectations, and now it's time to make room for your inner voice. This awakening isn't loud and dramatic. It arrives as a gentle whisper. Live like a flame. Burn without needing permission. April, under the influence of Aries, marks a period of rapid acceleration in the flow of life. Aries' energy, fiery, impulsive, and full of ambition, makes everything unfold more quickly, sometimes even spiraling out of control. You may feel an inner restlessness, as if urged from within to act immediately instead of waiting. This is evident in both your personal and professional life. Projects that once required careful deliberation suddenly become urgent, and relationships demand greater clarity and transparency. However, such impatience carries risks. Without balancing speed with logic, you may easily make mistakes driven by momentary emotions. For example, abruptly changing jobs or ending a long-term relationship simply because you feel trapped could lead to regret. In the realm of finance, Aries' energy ignites a burning desire to seize opportunities. You tend to invest boldly in new ventures, even willing to burn money on daring ideas. Yet Neptune, the planet of intuition, reminds you that courage must be coupled with strategy. A hasty decision based solely on fleeting inspiration may leave you directionless. Instead, blend long-term vision with decisive action. For instance, rather than pouring all your funds into one high-risk venture, allocate wisely and always reserve 20% of your budget for unexpected situations. At the same time, the process of spiritual awakening deepens. You realize that you have lived too long within societal molds or others' expectations. The mask gradually falls away, revealing your true inner self. You begin to question your own values. Does this job truly bring meaning? Do these relationships nourish me? Or are they just burdens? This transformation does not come from sudden shocks, but rather from quiet moments, like when you are meditating and suddenly recognize that you deserve happiness. Moreover, your perception of the world around you becomes sharper. You develop the ability to read others' emotions through their eyes, gestures, and even the silences between words. This helps you forge more genuine relationships, yet it also makes you more sensitive to deceit. You no longer have the patience for meaningless conversations or for continuously sacrificing yourself to please others. To overcome the challenges of this phase, connecting with nature and listening to your inner self is key. Walks in the forest, meditating by the sound of a stream, or simply enjoying the morning sunlight can help you rebalance your energy. Remember, Aries brings the fire of action, but Neptune reminds you to keep your heart mindful. Only by combining both can you burn brightly without being consumed. Neptune's shift into Aries not only changes the way we act, but also opens the door to profound spiritual awakening. You begin to realize that the worries, fears, and concerns that once troubled you now fade into the background, as if a veil has been lifted. This isn't indifference. It is liberation from the long-burdened mental chains. You feel lighter and freer, yet you also face a new challenge: having the courage to live authentically as your true self. This phenomenon becomes evident as you grow more sensitive to the energy around you. For instance, when you enter a room, you instantly sense whether the atmosphere is tense or harmonious without a word being spoken. You can discern others' emotions through their eyes, gestures, and even the pauses in conversation. While this deepens your capacity to forge genuine relationships, it also requires you to set clear boundaries to avoid being swept away by others' feelings. Nature becomes an indispensable companion on this journey. Strolling through forests, enjoying the sound of birdsong, or meditating by a stream not only relaxes you, but also connects you deeply with your intuition. You come to understand that nature is a mirror reflecting your inner state. When your soul is in chaos, a sudden downpour can soothe everything. When clarity is needed, the morning sunlight illuminates the hidden corners of your thoughts. This process also demands that you shed old habits. Practices like keeping a journal or overanalyzing may now seem less effective. Instead, act on instinct. Whether it's a sudden decision to change jobs, move to a new city, or boldly express your personal views, even if they might spark controversy. Neptune in Aries teaches you, only by daring to try will you truly discover your limits. However, this boldness must be balanced with inner wisdom. Don't let the flame of passion scorch your clarity. Listen to your body. If you feel tense, pause and take a deep breath. If your intuition signals that something is amiss, don't hesitate to adjust your plans. Ultimately, this is the time to reaffirm your identity. You are no longer a diluted version of someone else, but an independent individual, carrying the flame of creativity and courage within. As Neptune advises, burn brightly, but never let anyone extinguish your light. Neptune's transition into Aries not only marks a personal change, but also creates a wave of collective transformation, redefining how humanity interacts with the world. This is a time when society begins to witness the rise of individuals daring to break the mold, leading with courage and keen intuition. On a broader scale, Aries energy propels movements demanding transparency, speed, and decisiveness, from technology and politics to art. Bold ideas, once dismissed as crazy, now have a chance to materialize thanks to the pioneering spirit. that Neptune inspires. On a personal level, you come to realize that time is no longer linear. Issues that once required a month of reflection can now be resolved in a matter of hours, guided by sharp intuition. For example, you might suddenly understand a long-standing family conflict through a single dream, or find the solution to a work problem during a morning run. Neptune in Aries teaches you that timely action is more important than perfect action. You learn to trust the inner rhythm instead of forcing yourself to follow a rigid schedule. However, this change also presents the challenge of balancing individual needs with the collective good. As everyone pursues their own voice, conflicts may arise from differing approaches. At such times, Neptune's lesson shines through. Courage must be coupled with empathy. You learn to respect others' viewpoints without losing your own stance. For instance, in a debate, rather than imposing your opinion, you listen deeply before making a decisive stand. In the creative realm, this is a period of explosive, unique ideas. Art is no longer confined by traditional rules, but moves toward innovation by blending intuition with direct action. A musician might compose an entire album in one night. An entrepreneur might launch a startup fueled only by an idea and passion. Neptune in Aries encourages you to experiment continuously, even if you fail, because each stumble offers a lesson about your own limits. To harmonize with this energy, focus on habits that nurture your pioneering spirit. Wake up 30 minutes earlier to listen to your body. Jot down fleeting ideas as they come, or set aside 10 minutes each evening to cut off negative thoughts. Most importantly, remember, Aries brings the fire, but Neptune reminds you to keep that flame burning, steadily with mindfulness. Only by combining passion with inner wisdom can you truly master this new cosmic phase. The final stage of Neptune's transition into Aries marks the convergence of individual consciousness and the cosmos, where you realize you are no longer a mere observer, but a creator of destiny. Waking up just before the alarm no longer seems like a random coincidence. It is proof that your body and mind are in sync with the rhythm of the universe. You no longer need to check the time to know when to act. Your intuition tells you exactly when to start or stop. Time is now experienced as a non-linear flow. Events that once took a month to comprehend can now be deciphered in the blink of an eye. For example, you might suddenly grasp the hidden meaning behind a colleague's remark from 3 years ago, or find the answer to life's big question while washing the dishes. Neptune in Aries blurs the boundaries between the past and the present, allowing you to live fully in each moment without being haunted by future plans. Communication is transformed at its core as well. You no longer rely solely on words to understand others. A furrowed brow, a forced smile, or even the way someone holds their cup, all become clear languages. This ability enables you to see through people's true motives, while also requiring you to maintain your personal energy so as not to be overwhelmed by negative emotions. To maintain balance, connecting with nature becomes essential. Walks under the canopy of trees, moments spent lost in the sound of crashing waves, or simply breathing deeply in the fresh morning air help you recharge your energy. Nature is not only a refuge, but also a teacher, offering lessons in letting go, much like leaves that fall to make way for new growth. Most importantly, this is the time to act without hesitation. Neptune in Aries reminds you, the universe offers no chance to the indecisive. Treat each day as a blank canvas. You have the right to paint it with the colors of courage and intuition. Do not fear failure, for even mistakes are part of the ultimate awakening process. When you live true to the fire within, everything around you will automatically align in ways you never imagined.